Hey guys, my guest today, Dr. Linda Salvin, and I are going to be talking about negative entities and candle magic. We'll be right back. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust, turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Hey everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to California Haunts Radio. I bet you guys are shocked, aren't you? Aren't you? Well, this is what a vampire looks like when they're out during the day. Honest, this is what a vampire looks like. Usually I'm working either with you guys from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Pacific, and then over at TikTok from 7:30 to 10:30 or even midnight. So this is what it looks like. Anyway, I'm so excited. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team based out of Sacramento, California. We're 45 strong up and down the state, which means if you think you have a paranormal need, we can get you. It might take us a while, but we'll get you. Big state. You need to get a hold of us. Like I said, you can find us on TikTok. You can find us almost everywhere. Almost everywhere. Almost everywhere. In fact, speaking of which, tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific, join me over at TikTok. I'll be doing some tarot card readings. Freebies. Okay? Freebies for you guys. Past, present, future. Anyway, my guest tonight. She and I became good friends. It's amazing doing this for as long as I have on the air. I've been doing this almost 21 years on the air. Blog Talk Radio and all that. It's amazing over the years how you meet people when you're doing these shows and they become good friends. And Dr. Linda and I have become good friends over the years. She's been on my show several times. I've been on her show a few times. And so it's just fun. It's a fun camaraderie that we have. So today I asked her to be on because I haven't talked to her in a while. I know she went to Dubai. We got to hear about her trip to Dubai. And I know she won an award or two in Dubai. So we got to see what that's about. Just do a catch up, and we're going to be talking about negative entities. And she has these really cool things called candle magic. And candle magic can help you do with almost, I don't know if everything that ails you, but I mean, it can help you out with that. With stuff that's bugging you. Maybe you have negative entities in your house or something's going on. Candle magic is where it's at. Candle magic's where it's at. It works on moods, everything. Now, as you guys know, I've been sick. I've been having dizzy spells. I'm trying to narrow down what's causing them, but I kind of think it's my glasses, because my glasses need to be changed. I'm going on my third year with my glasses, and they're not very good. So it's a struggle to wear them. Just like my contacts that I have in. Shouldn't be wearing contacts, any longer than like a month. And I've been wearing these contacts. I only wear them for my show. So the last 2 years I've been wearing the same set of contacts. So I think that's what's going on. That could be what's going on. But I will see the doctor tomorrow. But anyway, let me bring Linda in, and we'll see what she's up to and stuff. And yeah, it's great to talk. It's great to bring my old friend in. Here we go.
Hey, Charlotte.
Hey, hello. How's it going?
Things are going really well for the most part. I think you've got an oxygen problem going to your brain, that you're not getting enough oxygen over and above the glasses. I just got new glasses because I was getting that topsy-turvy feeling of not being centered or grounded, and a lot of it is vision with astigmatism. So the astigmatism will make you feel like you're wobbly or the perception's off. Yeah. And yes, you just mentioned I was in Dubai. I was also in Istanbul, which I'll explain in a moment, but I wouldn't go on the escalator because my vision, which I just got the new glasses, every time I saw the stairs of the escalator open up, I felt like if I got on, I was going to fall. So that's part of that feeling you've got, but I also think there's something going on with oxygenation in the mind or brain as well. So have that checked, because you may not be getting enough. But between the two, and I think it might be astigmatism, because I am a healer. And
I do have astigmatism, yes.
Yeah, okay. And I can do medical assessments all the time, healing, and have for over 30 years. But thank you for having me back. It's been a while.
Yes.
And I watch you, I see you on all the time. You're pushing your show. And yeah, you've been doing it over 20 years. I'm in my 31st year now.
Yep.
So I was the original radio psychic here in Los Angeles, California. K-Big 104 FM, a big rock station, created the format and created the radio psychic long before the internet, before everybody became familiar with the programming and the format and answering questions and doing spiritual work. Because back in those days, FTC didn't even want this kind of talk, right? So the nice thing about the internet is that the rules are a little bit more flexible depending on the platform.
Right.
But back then, not on major, what they call terrestrial radio, not then. No. So we're the pioneers, you and I. We go back where a lot of people just, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, streaming. Okay, but what was there before the digital world in 09? It was in 09 that it exploded.
Right. You made me laugh when you were talking about the escalator. My mother, I used to tease my mother when I was growing up because she would go on escalators and she would take these little ginger steps.
Because she was afraid of falling.
She was afraid of falling with the escalator.
My grandmother was that way also. My grandmother, that's when I started thinking back, my grandmother felt like this. So it could have been either a fear of falling or it could have been her eyesight. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Those damn bifocals.
Oh, I've got them again now. I had the cataract surgery, so I don't really need glasses since the cataract surgery. But what they don't tell you after cataract surgery for the old people is that down the road, your eyesight starts to wane again and it gets a little weaker. So I had to get the adjustment, mostly for readers, driving with the glare at night, but not to be worn 24/7. I don't need them all the time, thankfully.
There you go. Yeah. So tell me, you went to Dubai and you won some type of award.
I did.
Start there.
This is called the Fortuna. The Fortuna is almost like winning an Oscar, but in the business and health industry. There were 880,000 nominations worldwide in over 80 countries, and only 194 people won.
Wow.
Yeah. So less than 10% were from the United States. I won, even though, let me give a brief background. I have a bachelor's in health ed, a master's in epidemiology, public health, and then years later, I got a PhD in metaphysics. So through the years, I combined science with the woo-woo and the metaphysician and became a psychic after being in a plane crash and all that stuff. But this company scouted people around the world. I mean, there were cardiologists from India and the head of, or a professor of neurology at Columbia University, major business owners, CFOs, CEOs, MDs, gynecologists, ophthalmologists, dentists, practitioners. I mean, people you wouldn't even think of were at this event in Dubai. Well, when I was first solicited, I thought, what a joke, because I've seen these things in the past and I would delete the email. I mean, 3 more over a period of time. I thought, all right, let me see what this is. So I had a 10-minute meeting with them that turned into an hour and a half. And they said, okay, you qualify for 4 categories, 2 in the health and 2 in the business. I said, okay. So I filled out the forms. There's a 6-week waiting period because they have a jury-led analysis where people's applications are literally screened by the doctors, business people, professionals. I mean, it's not like pay your fee and get an award. It's not one of those. You got to be careful. There's a lot out there that make you sound like you're really something, and all they do is you pay for a plaque and it's got your name on it. This was legit. So I waited and I got the acceptance, and I was actually shocked that they gave me Businesswoman of the Year in Entertainment and Media for the United States.
Wow.
In business. So I was in the business category, which was on Friday night, and then the health and wellness category was on Saturday night. I was there for the whole weekend, but I was also one of the keynote speakers on Friday night. So I got this other plaque here for being a guest, and I was with sultans and sheiks, and we have this beautiful plaque of guest of honor. And because I'm going to toot my horn, because I'm still kind of overwhelmed, even though it's a few months down the road now, because of my keynote speech, they asked me, out of all the people, there were over 600 people that weekend, if I would go to Mumbai, India, and be the keynote for the 2 nights of the health and wellness event coming up with all the dignitaries, ministers, heads of state. So I leave Los Angeles May 5th for 3 weeks. I'm going to Mumbai for another Fortuna event. And I'm going to be on, oh gosh, they're promoting me on the New York Times Square billboard, Mumbai billboards. I'm going to be on TV, radio, podcasts. They're going to be doing a whole event around me for 3 weeks. I said, if you're taking me to India, then I need to go see the Taj Mahal. So they're throwing in 3 days of me going up to Agra, and I'm going to see the Taj Mahal.
Nice.
So it's going to be spiritual. It's going to be serviceable. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be what we do as spiritual people. It's all spiritual. It's like if you wanted to be a part of it, the organization could sponsor a part of it, and you would get a lot of press, which we can talk about. But the main thing is, after 31 years in broadcasting, and a little longer as a psychic and a healer, I'm being acknowledged for my work. I have been recognized on a world platform. So yes, I went to Dubai. I was there on the Queen Elizabeth II for a week, and then I flew to Istanbul and met one of my clients that I've worked with for about 15 years, but we'd never met. And she met me in Istanbul for 3 days, and I went to the Blue Mosaic all of the temples and the churches, and I learned about the Byzantine era of Christ, prayer, the old rituals of 7,000 years ago. It was quite fascinating to bring what we know together to the moment, because nothing's really new. It's just this generation, right?
Right, exactly.
But you inherited your gift. I don't. Mine awakened through trauma. But there's people from decades and millennia behind us that have evolved and done things, but we have the opportunity to share it universally here as opposed to just in a mosque or wherever.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was quite an experience, Charlotte. It changed my life. It opened my eyes to new people, new cultures, new religions. I rode a camel. I went out to the desert. I went out to the desert and I rode a camel. His name was Salvin. They said that the average person rides a camel for about 10 minutes. That's all they can handle. I was up on that guy for 30.
There you go. Wow.
So I rode a camel. I've made some interesting friends. And the nice thing is, with this particular award, I met the woman named Catherine from Norway that got this, and there's a woman named Rashi from India that got this category over and above several other categories of practitioners or doctors or business or whatever their specialties might be. So it's a new community of professional people. That's not just what you and I do with the woo-woo, because a lot of people don't get it. And a lot of people need to hear it.
Yeah, they do. They actually do.
That's why you and I have this passion and drive to keep putting it out there, because there's always somebody that needs to, like, what did she just talk about? What did she just say? Because so many people, live like this cognitively. They see life as they see it, but then all of a sudden here's something spiritual and the door is open. Now I have a question for you.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you need tarot cards. I don't know if you're just going to tune in. I don't know what's going to happen. My father, he's 95 years old. He fell on January 14th, broke his hip and wrist. He's been in rehabs and nursing homes and hospitals since. So we're looking at about 6 weeks. I went to visit him the other day, but 2 days ago, I came home and I swear on my mom or whatever is out there, I do not have gold stars in my house anywhere. I found a gold star around the size of a $50, maybe a quarter, on my pillow. As I was getting ready for bed, I thought, what is this? And I looked around and I picked up books and magazines. I thought, where did this come from? I'm telling you, it's from a different frequency or a different dimension. Something put it there. I don't. It's like when we talk about the ghosts moving your
Mm-hmm.
keys or turning on the lights or shifting the computer. Where do you think the star came from? I'm thinking,
Somebody's so you're, somebody's reassuring you from beyond because of the stress you're going through right now. It could have been your father, out of body experience,
or my mom on the other
or your
side saying
mom,
we're
right, or
getting
somebody
ready
like
to
that.
receive him.
Yeah, because sometimes people will have these out of body experiences when they're sleeping and they don't realize they're doing it.
And that's called
So
astral projection, where a
right,
lot of
astral
people don't
projection.
know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So yeah, it's somebody that's reassuring you. Probably your mother or your father are
Well, my
reassuring you.
my mom's been gone. It's going to be 16 years. So I'm wondering if see, and this is interesting because it's kind of the ghost and it's kind of the transition period. We don't know if he's transitioning or if he's healing because he's
Right.
out. He's back and forth. One moment we think he's gonna, we're getting ready to say goodbye, and the next moment he's talking again.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that's also part of transition where it can be a slow decline. He's lost over 30 pounds in 4 weeks. He doesn't want to eat, doesn't want to drink. His potassium's down.
Mhm.
He's not cognitive like he used to be. And he said, I'd like to call my wife, or what's my mother's address? So he's starting to go beyond the veil, I believe. I don't
Right.
think it's
Right.
just the dementia talking.
Right.
When they start looking for relatives, as you know,
Mhm.
they're reaching out, or the relatives are offering their hand, or the dog, or the cat, or the parrot.
Right. Right.
Something
Right.
from the other side is in receivership. So, what a lot of listeners don't know is when we're in between realms, just like a coma, I believe,
Mhm.
on the other side, and then they wake up and they have stories to tell about God, Jesus, life after life, relatives they saw. It's all real.
Right.
People like Charlotte and me do these shows to teach, to educate,
Yes.
to make
Yes.
aware that this stuff's real. And Charlotte deals with some real dark stuff I don't even want to touch, but I give you a lot of credit for doing all the ghost hunting. But it could be a ghost that left this beautiful gold star on my
Yeah.
pillow to
Yes.
give me a message. Either
Yeah.
he's leaving
Yeah.
or it's good. I know I'm going to be okay,
Yeah.
but
What
it's
they'll do,
hard.
what they'll do it to reassure. I mean, that's part of it. It's like when somebody finds a feather. That's another sign. If you find a feather, it's a reassuring thing. So it's always reassuring for you because a friend of mine. So somebody just passed away a couple months ago that I thought a lot of, and her son had been taking care of her for about 5 years. And I used to tell him, I said, what you're doing is a good thing. She passed away, and I sent her. The funeral was last weekend, and I sent him an email today, and I said, you know what? Now you're going through this transition, and I said it's a weird transition because it's kind of like you're a police officer at end of watch because you spend all this time walking down the hallway or doing whatever to keep an eye on her, and you're still for the next couple months you're still going to be doing that.
And attached and
Yeah,
remorsing
yeah,
and
yeah,
grieving. And
yeah,
then another part of grief when we let go, because I've already been going through it, is, and I even said to my dad, because I didn't have the chance with my mom.
yeah.
And I remember my dad flew to Las Vegas to have this conversation with his father before his dad died back in the late 90s. But
Right.
it's important for us to have closure or to say how you really feel, even if it was anger or where you screwed up. So I said, have I disappointed you? Because I started
Mhm.
crying, knowing I'm not on the path I dreamed of as a kid. Absolutely. I did not dream of becoming a psychic. No, no, no. That
Right.
was not part of my idea.
I agree with that one.
I don't think you did either. It's just sort of like they took us. But I wanted to make sure he was okay. And he was laying there. He said, everything's fine. But I started to tear up and I looked away because I didn't want him to
Mhm.
see my emotion. But it's important to have that moment with your loved one because you don't know when it's going to happen. He may take 4 more years to go. He may go in
Right.
5 days.
Right.
I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah.
But there's no quality of life anymore. He's not going to get up and play golf. I mean, that's just not
Right.
going to happen.
Right. Right. Right.
But we as humans in the body have to communicate the feeling. And yes, your friend walking up and down the hallway, it's hard to let go. And then that moment comes when the person's
Mhm.
transition.
Mhm.
And we are left with either the guilt or the grief or the
Mhm.
shock or we're overwhelmed. Like I remember when your mom died. I mean, it was hard, but you took care of your parents. You're still in the
Yeah.
house. You have all the energy, you have all the memory, you have all of the You had your traumas, but you gave your heart and soul.
Right, I did.
That's the love.
Absolutely. I think what helped with my mother too is um, when she passed, I knew she was still around me that day. But when I woke up the next morning, she was sitting on the couch watching me sleep. And she started to look younger, right? But that was
Mm-hmm.
her way of saying, "Hey, look, I'm still here, but I'm in a different form. I'm
The
not totally
apparitions
gone."
are true
Yeah.
and real. We're not hallucinating. It
Yeah.
is real. You get a
Yeah.
flash or an image, or they do look younger, whatever. And it kind of leads into the same uh, topic of entities, of attachments we were just talking about
Yeah.
when you were introducing the show. Because even though people pass away, or even in life, you could go to the chiropractor, go to the market, go buy
Mhm.
shoes, go out to the gas station. There's so much what I call schmutz out there,
Mhm.
garbage. You don't know who or what's attacking or attaching
Yeah.
to us. Okay, I'm on a plane, I'm in another country, I'm on a camel, I'm in the desert, I'm on an old ship. I mean, you don't know. I needed to cleanse, I needed to release, because I know things that we cannot see, like a barnacle, will attach
Mhm.
to our body in our soul's realm. People like me and Charlotte will help you release, cleanse, purify. It's more than just waving a sage wand, people.
Mhm.
It'll help clear the air. But what Charlotte and I do is really get into your sphere, your frequency, your bodily images, and we can remove the negative film or
Mhm.
the entity. Or sometimes people say, "Oh, my neck hurts so much." And I'll go to somebody that helps me and I help them. "Oh, you've got an attachment from blah, blah," or somebody backstabbed you and da, da, da.
Mhm.
And we
Mhm.
pick this up, but we don't know how to identify it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. But there are negative entities. Now, you deal with the negative entities a lot when you're cleansing or doing ghost hunting. Why don't you talk about what you've picked up? Because you go beyond some of the people that call me just for a healing to feel better after grief or loss or breakups or a job loss.
I just wrote a blog about this too the other day. As a ghost hunter or a psychic doing the work that I do, I've been doing this a long time, and no matter what we do to protect ourselves, something can always get through. It doesn't matter, how well we protect ourselves. And like Linda says, I mean, there's nights where I've come home, and you know what? This is something that you guys got to know too. Take a look around you when you're at home, okay? And as you're looking around yourself at home, you can pretty much guess and see what the energy's like. The ghosts that are around you, because you're no, don't tell me you don't have ghosts around you. Everybody does, okay? You can tell the energy of the ghosts that are in your house. Now, when you bring something that's not supposed to be there home, you can tell the difference right away,
It gets
because
cold or it
yeah,
gets kind of weird or
yeah,
still in a very strange stillness, like it's almost too quiet even with the music on. Or if you have an animal, they react a little
yeah,
differently. You feel like a temperature gauge when it's
yeah,
nice and warm and cozy or cool. But once in a while there's that chill and it's like, what is that? What it makes you, if you know how to become aware, you become aware of it. Go on.
yeah,
I love
and
this
they don't
stuff.
act the same.
No.
Okay, the ghosts don't act the same. I mean, I've gone on investigations where I have come home thinking, okay, I yelled at it, told it to stay there, you know,
And
and
you're saying, yeah, right. No, we're going home with you,
yeah.
Charlotte.
So I'm sitting there watching TV, and I have a through the wall air conditioner in my house. My house is 75 years old. It is what it is, and it's a big one. It's for 1,600 square foot air conditioner, and I've had the front of that air conditioner ripped off and thrown across the room. Right there, I think, oh, that's not one of my ghosts.
No, it's
And
poltergeist. That's a
yeah,
poltergeist. They
yeah,
came to play with you, but also to screw with your brain. Like,
yeah, yeah.
whoa.
And so I've had that happen. I've gone to where I'm getting ready for bed, and I can feel a finger go down my spine,
Now,
or
a lot
hear
of that,
voices.
you hear
Yeah.
voices, or
Mhm.
sometimes there's just a very quiet whisper. I get the
Yeah.
whisper, and you think,
Yeah.
wow, there's somebody here. And then you realize it's spirit communicating through a whisper, and it comes through this dimension. It's like, how do they do that?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't, it's not audible. It goes,
Yeah.
and then you
That's
hear
about
one
what
or
I
two
hear.
words. It's like, what is it? But it's spirit
Yeah.
contact Or
Yeah.
it's like if you feel the finger down your spine,
Yeah.
or when you're sleeping, there's that entity called witch's writing, where you feel like someone's on top of you and you can't
Yes.
breathe, and you feel like you're going to suffocate, and then you come out of it in a start, and it's like, oh my God, because you're getting back into the body, and that's the vibration after you've been astral projecting. There's so many different things
Yeah.
that happen in our sleep.
Yeah. And I've experienced that to where I could feel somebody right here and throwing them off. I've done demonic cases. I had a minor demon that we were dealing with in somebody's house. Came home, started to do the EVP work, and I saw scratches start like going down my arm. So I did
I've
that
had
and come
people
home.
come to me with the scratches on their arm, on
Yeah.
their back, and one person had me do a cleanse of their home years and years ago, probably about
Yeah.
15 years ago. There were like claws on the window,
Whoa.
as if something had clawed and left its mark on the window. With, it's not soap and it wasn't dirt, but and it wasn't blood. I don't know
Mhm.
what the liquid or what it used to have all that, but it
Mhm.
was real and it was kind of spooky. But I did candles. Speaking of candle magic,
Yeah, we're going to be talking about candle magic today too. Yeah.
which the wisdom, and how
Yeah.
I cleansed that man's house with the candles.
Yeah.
But it's because it's all together metaphysics. It's all part of the psychic spiritual healing world that we deal in, depending on which level you want to go to. Some people go real deep, and
Yeah.
like Charlotte's into the ghosts. I don't want to go there. Been there, done that.
And then
That's
the
not
other
for
thing,
me.
well, the other thing you got to sort out too. You just can't go out and do it. People, I get calls all the time to come out cleanse my house, and it's
Yeah,
like
they think it's easy.
I can't just come out and cleanse your house. I got to know what we're dealing with.
People don't understand that we need to assess them when they call
Yep.
for a reading, especially if people want a healing or they even want to do candle magic.
Yeah.
I prefer to do an assessment so they're not just paying for something online without knowing what they're buying.
Mhm.
Or if they're booking a healing, before I say, okay, lay down and through breathing, color, and words, I'm going to do this, I need to know what they're dealing with so
Mhm.
I know what to target, because energy and emotion can be in the liver, kidney, spleen, breast, ribs, eyes, nose, ears, toes, the
Mhm.
penis, vagina, the back of the knees. Who knows where it is? But through the work in 40 minutes, I'm able to release the negative emotion to give people balance or harmony and unconditional
Mhm.
love, again,
Mhm.
to feel good. That's the integration of mind, body, spirit. There's a lot of different ways. Now, with my father's new crisis, I spoke to
Mhm.
somebody, and I've never heard this term before. Maybe you have, but I learned that the Irish call this thin places. Have you heard that before? Thin
I've
places?
never heard that.
If we look it up, it's I think a Christian, I'm Jewish, so I'm learning. Um, a Christian definition, but it's the thin places going from our reality of life
Mhm.
into the spiritual world of
That's
transition
sure.
and death.
Makes sense.
But it's called the thin places. Yeah, you might want to look that up. So I'm
I'll look
learning
that
a
up.
new term, just like I've had people come out of comas, and I knew they were on the other side. And I'm watching my father go back and forth, and I'm giving him
Mhm.
permission. Dad, you're 95. If you don't want to fight to heal this broken leg and the hip and the wrist, give up. It's okay. You can go. And then he doesn't eat for 3 or 4 days, and he wants ice cream. It's like, give him what he wants. If he doesn't want to eat, don't force the chicken and the pasta and the chicken
Right.
soup. Just leave him alone. Our bodies, I believe, tell us when we're going to go. I think
Right.
we know spiritually if we're on the way out, if we're feeling about maybe not communicating to our loved ones. I think we spiritually know when we're transitioning. Don't
Mhm. Mhm. I agree. I agree.
we? Did your
Well, I
mom
remember. Huh? Pardon? Go
Did
ahead.
your mom give you any indication that you might be watching her go in the next few days? Was there any warning, or did it just sort of happen?
She was really sick. It got to the point where I was hand feeding, liquids, and she didn't say much. She wasn't talking a lot, but there was indication because she was talking to more people. She was talking to more people, and
Like
she would,
relatives
yeah, she
and
would see my grandmother there. So my dad would be standing in the corner. She'd be talking to him and things like that. Because I remember, like, leading up to it, like a month, 2 months before that, I would hear her yelling at him, going, "I'm not ready. Leave me alone."
no, they're not ready, and they know when they're ready.
Yeah.
But he was there. Like, come on, let's
He
go,
was there,
let's
yeah.
go.
So
Yep.
so so they were there waiting for her, and she would tell me. And one of her thing was, I think she saw coworkers as well because she would say, "All right, get me dressed. I'm late for work. I got to go to work. I got to go to work."
Well, my dad says that. He thinks he still has his company. He fires the nursing staff. I said, Dad, this is one
There's
time
the
you're
nursing staff.
I said, Dad, this is one time you're not president of the organization. He has fired
Oh Lord.
nurses. He did not want to do physical therapy. Get out of here. Don't touch me. Yeah, yeah. It's a whole side of him I've never seen, but he just like, leave me alone. You don't want to do PT, don't do PT. You don't want to get better, you may never walk again.
Yeah.
That's you. But then he'll say, did you bring the relatives? I said, which relatives? He'll say, the ones from Chicago. I said, we don't have any relatives in Chicago. But his aunt and uncle back in the 20s lived in Chicago for a very brief moment. So I brought their son, my cousin, which
Yeah.
is his cousin, because maybe he was associating Chicago or he was being visited by his uncle. I don't know
Right.
how it works.
Right.
So I'm not on that level, but I can hear it.
Right.
Or he'll say, where's the phone? I need to call my wife. And then I'm thinking, okay, my mom's coming around because I talked to my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is interesting. My cousin is the daughter of my father's sister, right? So we
Right.
share a grandmother, and that was my aunt.
Right.
So I called to give her an update about my dad. She goes, oh, maybe that's why my mom's been around a lot lately because she's very, very psychic. I said, what about grandma?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's been around too. So the relatives, the ancestors, as we call them, are starting to
Come
get
around.
a little closer. I just got chills. Now we both know chills means confirmation of
Yeah.
spirit. When we
Yeah.
get goosebumps, right? So that's something saying you're right.
Well, I
And
know my dad when he passed, he was looking because people always think, oh, their eyes are going to be this and their eyes are going to be that, but he was actually looking. His eyes were pointed to the right, like somebody was standing there. So I thought it was his mother. I kind of figured his mother had come to get him, but very
and the right
overwatchful.
side of the body is the future and the left is the past. So if he's
Yeah.
looking to the right, he's looking towards the future. Because if he
Yeah.
kept looking left, it'd be looking towards you or the past or something.
Yeah.
And that's body language for people to know too, that
Yeah. Yeah.
upper
So he
body.
was looking that way.
Interesting.
It was interesting, and then what was funny with that was that he wasn't there. I mean, he was hanging around us, when I called the nurses in and all that. And then I went to lunch. After they took him, I said, "Mom, let's go get some dinner." We're parked at McDonald's. Nancy Matz calls me, and she says, "He passed, didn't he?" And I said, "Yeah, he passed." And she goes, "Well, he's in China. I don't know why he's in China, but I see him in China." And the thing was, is that his dream had always been to take a boat down the Yangtze Kiang River.
Oh my
And
God.
so I was laughing. I said, "Well, that sounds like him. He realized he could walk. He could move around. First place he went was China. See you, family.
Got
That's
his
how he
dream.
was. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was his
that's the
dream.
gift that Nancy has. Nancy
Yeah,
has that kind
yeah.
of
Off he
big
went.
gift.
But I
Yeah.
mean, that stuff like that. My mother, she hung out here. I mean, like I said, when my friends were gathered around me that evening that she passed, I could smell my mother. I could smell this
She
soap
wanted
that
to
she
make
used to
sure
use.
you were okay.
Yeah,
She held on for
and
you
she
and
went
you
to the
held on for
funeral.
I bet.
She was in the car with us. Went to the funeral. Went to the after thing. We could smell her in the car. And she's still around. It's kind of
I
nice.
bet.
It's comforting.
I'm
But
trying to hear my mom. I can't. For some
yeah,
reason, that part of me shut down. And
but you will. You know what? It's a point like what I learned over the years. When you're ready, you will hear. That's the thing. A lot of people, when someone passes, then they go through that grieving thing where they just want to grab that person because they miss them so much. And it seems like that. My experience doing this stuff, that the person that's deceased doesn't want to put any more grief on you than they have to.
true,
So they
true.
will not come back in your dreams. They will not, come visit you until you are done. You are at a point where they can do that without wanting to hold them back.
Well, 16 years ago, my grandmother came to me in a dream. My grandmother passed in 1996, and this is
Mm-hmm.
2009. And I had a dream. I said, Grandma, I thought you were dead. She goes, No, no, I've just been away. So I said, Mom's sick. My mother had cancer. And she said she'll be okay. And 3 hours later, my mother called and asked if I could come up to the house. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, What's wrong? Because her voice sounded weird. She goes, I'm just tired. Come up. So I said, Oh, Grandma came to my dream. What she say? I said, Oh, that she'll be okay. My mother died the next day. So my grandmother visited to tell me she was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And it was as light as day, as if she was really here in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we get these visitations, they are more vivid and real than just a dream state. We're very
Right.
lucid when that happens. Now, talking about the negative thing, this you might be able to help me. About a month and a
Sure.
half ago, I woke up in the middle of the night as if um, the dark night of the soul was on my bed, ready to take me. Like, what's it called? What's his name? What's
Grim Reaper.
yeah, the Reaper like was on this pillow. And I kept saying, no, no, I'm not ready. No. And I pushed it away. Now, I don't know if that was a message that I was going to be going through something like what happened 2 weeks later with my father, if that was kind of
Mm-hmm.
a warning, or if they
Mm-hmm.
were coming to take me because I'd had a bad day. I said, let me out of here. For those that know me, I've tried to get out of here since the 80s with a plane crash, a fire truck accident, totaling a car, having a white light experience, being given the choice to live or die. I've seen the other side. There's a lot of peace over there, but I'm meant to be here to help people like Charlotte and thousands of other people that we help. It's a journey and it's not always fun. It's not always
Yeah,
feeling good. It's not, it's hard.
it
But
is
I don't
hard.
know what that Grim Reaper was. It was scary because I didn't see it, but I felt the image or the energy of it, and I pushed it off. What did that mean?
He was probably letting you know that a hard time was coming, more than likely, because
More like a
they'll
warning.
come as a warning like that. Yeah, they'll come and do warnings. Now, Lori in the chat room says that. Um, where'd it
I
go?
see
Where'd it
my
go?
dad told someone
Yeah,
that sounds like a great trip. Uh,
last words. Yeah, see,
yeah, and
you get a lot of that. You get a lot of that. I'm going to go on a trip. I'm going on a
it is
trip.
like a trip going like a trip. And then there's also who was it? Steve Jobs said, "Oh wow, oh well," because he saw the beauty of
Yeah,
the other side.
yeah,
Steve Jobs was a customer of my father's when he was building Apple. So back in the 70s, my dad said, "Linda, the way of the future is computers." I'm like, okay, well, look at us now in 2025. You're in Northern California. I'm in Southern California. We're talking to the whole world on the internet, all because of a computer, all because of an idea that started 50 years ago. And this is the
yep,
evolution. And
yep,
who knows where we're going to go in another 50 years,
yeah,
as how
absolutely.
we evolve.
Now, talking about negatives is that now, guys, if you have abilities and you're untrained, I'm going to be teaching psychic development classes coming up here very soon. Just know that once you open that door a little
You
bit,
can't go
okay,
back.
you can't go back, and not everything nice is going to come through that door, and
Correct.
that's the key. And
But
that's
that's also where candle magic comes in, where I can
that's
help.
where candle magic comes in. Let's talk about candle magic. Tell me
Well,
about candle magic.
also, what you don't know, Charlotte, is since we talked, I now have an affiliate program going into effect for Weeks of Wisdom next week. So
Cool.
what we can do is make you an affiliate. You
Okay.
put it out on your show, and when people order from your website, you're going to make the commission. We can sign people up as an affiliate underneath you and grow Wicks of Wisdom. I'll explain all that later, but
Okay.
that's what we're working on among other thousands of projects that
That sounds very cool. Sounds very cool.
happen. Yeah,
Very cool.
and it's like that thing in Dubai was because I'm an entrepreneur. So they call
Yeah.
them serial entrepreneurs. So
Right.
let me talk about Wicks of Wisdom for a
Go
second.
for it. Go for it.
Since we're talking about negativity, there's also a lot of positive things out there. But like anything, comedy and drama, that's the theatrical world. Yin yang, we have the positive and negative energies. However, you want to look at the weight of life. Oh, she's so negative. Oh, he's so positive. Yeah, you're Mary Poppins one day and you're the Grim Reaper the next, right?
Let me interject real quick here. I get when I'm doing readings at night. In fact, that comes up the polarities,
Mhm.
in our bodies, and I'm
Yep.
talking about that all the time. So go ahead and continue. That's one.
No, you're right, because this is why we bounce off each other so well over the
Yeah,
years that we've
yeah,
known each other and we can just chit chat
yeah,
because we help
yeah.
each other. And maybe what we'll do is just one night we'll just do a Wicks of Wisdom and get people to sign up underneath you and we'll
Sure,
start building your affiliate and get
that
them
would be
more
cool.
involved
That would be
because
very
it's all
cool.
part of it. It's all part of it. Wicks of Wisdom, people, was born in 1999, long time ago, on my radio show where I was on national radio in about 400 markets, long time ago. And first I became psychic in a plane crash. Then I didn't know what to do with it, and I ran for 12 years. I didn't just wake up, go, oh, I'm a psychic. Now I'm going to go do readings. It didn't work like that. It took 12 years for me to organize and figure things out. And then I got into radio. And well, first I was in Psychic Friends Network with Dionne Warwick. Then I got in the radio. And through the radio, I did the 6 month thing and I was trained in real radio. And then I got my own show. And one day I wanted this guy to open up that I was dating and I couldn't get him to communicate. So one of my clients said, oh, go to this candle store. So I went, nothing happened with that line. Another person said, try this line, nothing happened. One was pagan, one was whatever. And then one of my clients said, "Oh, go downtown and talk to Michael." So I drive downtown. I picked up what he told me to do with the herbs and the oils and this thing
Mm-hmm.
called petition. And next thing I know, the guy started emoting stuff. It was, how do I shut this guy up? Because all of a sudden I realized it worked. So I called this guy back. I said, "Oh my God, the candles work." He says, "Of course they work." He said, "Why don't you come back down here and I'll teach you?" I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because you're on the radio. You help a lot of people and you'll buy from me." Well, 27 years later, I'm still his customer. Wicks of Wisdom was born. We are trademarked. I was on TV. I paid Kris Jenner, yes, the Kardashian mother, $25,000 to host my TV infomercial back in '06, which was on TV in '08 and '09. And they went on to Keeping Up with the Kardashians, blah, blah, blah. But I still do candle magic to help people. There is money and success power to help you with money, abundance, getting a new job, maybe selling a house, opening a new door for a new opportunity, maybe to expand the show, whatever. I had
Mm-hmm.
one guy triple his viewership on YouTube just with the candles. Then getting rid of negativity. We have good luck power to move blocks, obstacles, negativity, curses, and bad luck. I put the two together. You do the good luck first to get rid of the negative, and then you do the money and success to draw in the positive, and things start changing. I have soulmate power to help you bring in the love of your life or enhance what's already there. And not always does it work on the first, second, or third set of candles, people. But you got to do it as a process, and all of a sudden the energy changes, and you get rid of what's blocking, and you bring in what's spiritual threat. The way that the candles work, you can go to lindasalvin.com or wicksofwisdom.net. There's 17 different sets online that you can choose from. Legal candles, sweetening judgment on my YouTube channel. Last year, I interviewed two different people, women, who were busted, and both of them were facing 20 years in jail. Both of them came to me for help, and both of them were set free. They didn't have to do time. They didn't. They're free. They're working. Their families. They did not go to jail for 20 years. It's all documented, and even their attorneys couldn't believe what they saw. They said, "How did this happen?" "Well, I got this guy limited to candles, and I have the attorneys go, 'Yeah, right.' But it's going to happen." You get 4 bottles of essential oils. There's formulas. Like if you're making chocolate chip cookies, tacos, and Boston cream pie, you got 3 different recipes for 3 different foods. Same thing. You mix up the different oils. Then there's herbs, and you get powders, and then there's the petition. All this goes into the candle. I don't tell you what goes on the petition until you purchase your set. That's the magic. How does it work? It's spiritual. I combined Santeria principles and formulas with Kabbalah, which is ancient Judaism, and the mysticism of Judaism. In the Kabbalah, which is over 3,000 years old, the candle represents the soul of man. The wick, when lit, is the flame, which is light, which is God. So we're feeding God our intention, our purpose, our need, our want. And this theory goes back to the Maccabean War. Before they burned down the Jewish temple,
Mm-hmm.
people would go to their idols before there was one God and offer clothing, money, flowers, food in exchange for help for their children or a new job or a wedding with their loved one, whatever. It's always give and take, yin yang, positive, negative. It all ties in together for the balance. So, weeks of wisdom, I have people burning in for health and wellness. I have legal candles, good luck, harmony, protection. You feel like you're lost on your path. I have path power that gets you focused, grounded, and motivated again. Whatever the purpose is, call me or email me and I'll help you. And or go to Charlotte and she'll send you to me. But Wix
Mm-hmm.
has been around since 1999 and helped thousands of people internationally and locally. But it ties into the spiritual, and it's one extra thing. Like someone wants to know what about their love life or their career, so you could upsell like, okay, you're having a problem trying to get this job. Why don't you do the good luck power candles, and then you upsell it. I think you can help people. I think it's time for you because you've grown so much since you've got all these new platforms. You're ready for the next step.
Absolutely.
So
Good
we do.
product. Good.
Yeah,
Good
we
stuff.
help each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Good
But
stuff. Go ahead. Well, as you said earlier, sage is all fine and wonderful, but it doesn't do
no, it doesn't
everything
make
you
people
think it
enough.
does. It
No.
doesn't do everything you think it does. That's why when I was saying when somebody wants us to come out and say do a cleansing on their house. It's complicated. Like Linda says, you have to come out. You really have to.
Assess.
Yeah, I have a 125 question questionnaire before we even get rolling. Because different. You got different religions involved in this stuff too. I mean,
True.
if you do
Different
something,
beliefs, and some's
yeah,
going to think you're crazy, and the other's
yeah,
going to say you're going against my priest or my
yeah,
rabbi
yeah,
or whatever. I hear that a lot. Oh, I'm not allowed because I said, but this has nothing to do with religion. This is spirit. And a lot
yeah,
of people need to hear the difference.
yes, yes,
Religion
they
is
do.
man-made. They don't know that spirit doesn't have a religion. It just exists.
Right. But if you're walking into some place and you're on Native American land and they've got issues in their house, you can't go in there with with holy water and start
That's
spraying
not
it all over
enough.
the place.
No.
It's not going to work.
But
You
what
have
about
to.
when you hit the burial ground
Yeah.
properties,
Yes.
because you don't know, Charlotte, you can be walking into something and maybe 50, 80, 120 years ago, there was a war or a battle or somebody died in their
Yeah.
sleep, dealing with the old soul or
Mhm.
souls that didn't want to leave and ascend. What do you do with that? Because you feel that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, you have to really work it. You really have to work it. Those are the hardest ones to get off. To get off, it's terrible to say. The hardest ones to calm down and remove are the ones that are attached to the land. Those are the hardest cases that you run into.
Why? Is it because they feel so attached to their
Yeah.
home
Yeah. They're so attached to the land, not so much the home, but the land itself.
where
Before the
they
home was there.
died, or yeah,
Yeah.
or their livelihood or
Yeah.
whatever?
I have one in my dining room that walks back and forth in my dining room because this used to be Riverland, and he was a fisherman, and he
Wow.
fell and cracked his head open
Oh my
and
God, I'm getting
died.
chills. What was his
Yeah.
name? Joe. Let's call
Yeah.
him Joe.
Yeah. But he kind of went, loony. And if I say that, I'm sorry. His mind isn't working correctly. I have to be politically correct now. Don't
Yeah,
want
but
to damage.
back then that was cool. And
Yeah.
okay, but anyway.
Yeah. So he's there. I mean, he's hard to deal with. And I remember years ago, when I was first realizing how strong my abilities were, I would see him, and he was like leaping out at me. Like you see in the movies, trying to grab me like this. He would leap forward like this to get me, to try like he was going
But
to
you
grab
have
me.
enough light and
Yeah.
protection and tools,
Yeah. Yeah.
knowledge on what to do. The
Yeah.
average person who might be attacked by a spirit, they don't know what to do. There's
Yeah.
a couple of people I have referred to Charlotte, and sometimes she do the assessment. Then they come back to me. Couple just did the candles, and the entity in the
Yeah.
house went away because we did Good Luck Power and
Yeah.
maybe a few others where they didn't need Charlotte's experience, but she would assess it, give it
Yeah.
to me, or I toss it back to her. People, this is how we can help you, because there
Yeah.
are teams of other people out there. When we get stuck, we can consult with our colleagues. Well, what
Mhm.
do you do about this? Once in a while, I can't handle it. What should I do, Charlotte? Do you want this
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
And we help each other. It's not
Yeah.
just entertainment purposes. It's not.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much competition. That's the other thing people don't realize. There's a lot of competition in what we do. A lot of competition.
But there's a lot of
And
charlatans.
yeah, even with ghost hunting, and you get a team into your house. Sometimes they're not, they're not very helpful for you. They're not helpful for you. I mean, I've had to go in over the years. I've had to go in with at least 30, 40 cases and undo what someone else did in
Well,
some house.
a lot of people, and people come to me as a last resort. I've been to this psychic, that psychic. I've spent $70,000. I've done this, and they said this, and I said, well, everybody's got an opinion, and some people are the charlatans, and some are going to tell you what you want to hear just to take your money, and then you wait
Yeah,
6, 7 years, it never happens. Then it's time to go get some truth about where you headed,
yeah,
or you end up because you heard the testimony of somebody, or you finally found the person. They finally go through all the other ghost hunters. They finally get to California haunts,
yeah,
then they realize they found the real deal. Or
yeah,
they go to 1,000 different psychic hotlines and they find me on a show or something. They go, wow, she really knows her stuff. I said, yeah, there are some of us are
yeah,
real.
yeah. You have to be really careful. When you pick out a ghost hunt team and you pick out a psychic to work with, because you don't know what you're getting. Get people that have worked with them before. That's what you want to hear. You want to get testimonials from people. So you're getting the real deal. Because I mean, I've been on cases where people have laughed because they said, "Gee, the last team that came out didn't even know how to turn on their video cameras."
Why compete? There should be, yeah, no, there's
Yeah,
competition in
yeah,
lawyers, dentists, medicine, teachers. Come on, competition is part of the game out there. You can't say that. We all compete because we all have to get our bills paid. We all are trying to prove that we have the knowledge gift or whatnot. It's like in any other industry, everybody competes. There's nobody that doesn't compete. It's just where you're going to take the competition. And sometimes you just like, surrender, let it happen and let the chips fall as they may. I don't know.
Lori says, "Why compete?" You know what?
But
Social media has done that.
oh, we have to, because in the old days we were commodities and we had our place in the world, and now everybody's a specialist, everybody's a psychic, everybody's a ghost hunter, everybody's a medium, everybody's a broadcaster because of podcast, right?
Yeah.
Podcast came around in 2007. We've been broadcasting prior to the podcast movement.
Yeah.
Everybody does a podcast. Everybody's got knowledge. Everybody's this. I was trained in radio. You've been on radio. Then everybody's on radio. So how you have to compete to find your niche.
You have to compete to find your niche.
So
Plus,
crowded now, right?
Everybody wants those likes. Everybody wants to go viral. And so they will do whatever they need to do to go viral. And a lot of these ghost teams, in fact, I'm going to go back to where I'm doing that, to where I'm looking at videos on TikTok. I was doing that for a while. Got involved with other projects, to where I call it Got Ghost on TikTok. And I will look, because I've done video work. I've done the whole thing. Okay, guys, I've trained in video. I know how to do photography. I can tell when they're pulling the wool over people's eyes, and it's called Got Ghost. And what I was doing was I would look at different paranormal, alleged paranormal videos, and I would tell you whether or not they were real. Because there's a lot of, I'm going to call it tomfoolery, but there's a lot of tomfoolery out there, and people believe it, especially with AI coming out with AI.
That's another thing. AI, you don't, impossible.
You don't know what you're looking at.
Just like a few years ago with the SAG and Writers Guild down here, AI coming in as the actor, AI is writing the scripts and the songs. How do you know how to pay if it's not human, if it's AI? And then the agencies and the unions had to change their rules on how you pay, and it's hard. It's hard, and you don't know. There's a lot of people who are cloned. I know I'm the real deal. I haven't been cloned as far as I know, but there's clones out there. A lot of celebrities and a lot of politicians. They're made mostly in New Mexico is where they clone. But you got all these influencers making a couple of $1 million a year throwing tarot or talking about skincare, because the way of the world for the younger generation was using Instagram or TikTok. I don't sit on TikTok like you do. I'm going to be putting some songs up and some reels, but it hasn't become my focus at this point yet.
Yeah.
But everybody's got their thing. It's only last year you jumped on that bandwagon, and look at how much you've exploded because you were willing. You were willing to take a chance, Charlotte.
Yeah.
You grew.
Yeah, you never
a lot
know.
of people don't want to grow. A lot of people don't want to get out of their comfort zone. A lot of people don't motivate.
Yeah. One thing with AI, that I got into an argument with somebody on Instagram over it.
What happened?
Because I told them how I was against it, and they're like, "Well, I don't understand why you're against it." Blah blah blah. Coming from the background of a press photographer,
old journalism in our day.
If we take a photo, and let's say I take a photo of Linda, and she's got like a tree coming out the top of her head. Okay, we don't want that tree coming out the top of her head, so we remove the tree. So Linda has no appendages coming out of her head.
Right.
The second we do that, we have to mark it as a photo illustration.
So there's no law or rule yet on what's actually edited, marked, or AI. That's where you're drawing the line, because we don't know what's really being.
That's where my complaint is. Yeah, because as a photojournalist, you have to say, "Hey, I did something to this photo. AI, they don't do that
yet. That's an interesting point.
That's where the argument's been with these people. Oh, you're just afraid AI is going to take your work away. No, that's not what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of, which is what's happening now, is people are falling for these photos and videos, and they're fake.
Well, there's a talent.
Real journalists have to say we did something to alter the photo.
That's interesting to know. I didn't think of it that way, because I've been talking more about the actor or the image of our face or our character, or did I write the script, or did AI write the script? And Lori's talking about Elon Musk. No, everybody's Elon Musk and RFK Jr., and they're offering money and they're doing Bitcoin, and you can do anything you want online, and we get slammed with all these scams, and everybody You see, oh, it's your friend. Oh, you got the
Yeah.
most beautiful smile and eyes. I want to be your friend. I'm like, bug off, dude, because you know it's all crap out there.
It is. And
You know,
like you
you got to
said,
be careful.
it is and for you being as close as you are to the Actors Guild and all that stuff, that is a major problem.
It is, and
You
I'm a
know.
SAG. I'm in SAG. I
Yeah.
am SAG eligible. If I want to go back and do movies and TV, I probably
Yeah.
can. And I'm thinking of going back into acting. I haven't quite decided. Maybe I should call you for a reading tonight. Maybe I should figure out. Maybe we should
pop
just
on the
take.
pop on the TikTok. We'll do your
Yeah,
past, present, and future. No problem.
yeah. I'm
2 minutes
going
of reading. Boom.
to.
Out
I'm
the
going
door.
to. I'm going to dinner tonight if I'm home in time. What time is your TikTok Pacific time? So
7:30
people
p.m. to 10:30 p.m.
Pacific time, you can always find Charlotte. What's the name of that TikTok
Actually,
channel?
it's 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. I forgot. I'm
Okay.
going early tonight. California Haunts. We're California Haunts on TikTok. You know, my friends call me Miss Cleo.
You don't want that.
No,
That's an
I'm
insult,
cranking these
really.
things out. I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
around 50 to 60 readings a night.
I did that in the '90s. I used to do that, but it's fun. It's just
Yeah.
let the people call you off there and only pay for a true reading and get the depth of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
It's fun, and you can prove and show off that way.
And there's no psychic like me out there because I'm more
You're
like
you.
Robin. I'm more like Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam. When I'm out there. So I put on a show. So by the time I'm done, I'm exhausted. I mean, this
It's
last night,
draining. People don't
yeah,
realize how draining psychic work
yeah.
is. It's not
And
just
last night,
like
I forget what it was, and I was singing Happy Birthday to somebody. I do a Happy Birthday like Marilyn Monroe. And somebody sent me a bubble gum, and they got it just right. They had to aim it and time it just right. So as I was singing, that the whole thing, the bubble came out of my mouth.
that is
It was
funny.
perfect. So that's the
That's
stuff that happens. They put hats on me. They put, they do
I'll
all this
have to
stuff.
check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, with
they
all the
do all this
different
stuff with me.
graphics. Yeah, I it's just one more thing to get involved with, one more
Well,
platform to go
and we
to.
laugh.
I
Another
just
platform, yeah.
yeah,
I
no,
have
I
more
just
platforms. Like I've got to work on my website, for the tarot reading and all that stuff. I have to put that together. It's just one more thing. It just keeps adding and adding and adding. But
yeah,
like I said, I want to get back to where I'm doing I'm doing the critical stuff on the videos. I'm trying to. It's just another, like you say, it's another thing. I'm trying to fit this in,
it's
fit this
hard.
in,
You
fit
got to
this in,
do
fit
it.
this
I
in.
just hired somebody as a virtual assistant to do a lot of that for me because it's
Yeah,
impossible to do everything.
yeah,
You got the
because
creative mind, you got the psychic mind, you're dealing with the ghost, you're dealing with the dead, you're dealing with the moment, you're dealing with the past, you're dealing with the present, you
yeah,
gotta pills, you gotta go to the doctor, you gotta fix your eyes. It's life
yeah,
and you're juggling 1,000 different
yeah.
plates. And one day you just go, I gotta take the day off. I'm tired,
Yep, you got to pick your battles. And it's just like I just did. I was off Sunday night, even though I did this show. But that's easy. I'm reading a book on Sunday, so who cares? I did, and I was off Sunday night, and then like I wasn't feeling good Monday, and I tried to do it because I was dizzy. About halfway through the show, I said I can't do the show. I'm about to fall out of the chair. So I took Monday night off, slept
Did you eat
15
enough
hours.
protein? Because you're not getting enough protein either, so your blood sugar's dropped with the
Yeah, it could be
oxygen.
protein. It could
There's
be a protein
protein. You
thing
need
too.
more protein.
Yeah, I'm working
You
on
were doing
water.
okay for a while. You were doing good for a while, but
Yeah,
it's hard to get all that protein in.
I'm working on making sure because of my heart failure, I have a tendency not to drink a lot of water either because heart failure patients don't drink water because it's hard for the heart to deal with it. So I'm working on drinking more water during the day and eating more protein, to keep everything going. And yeah, so it's coming
I'll
along.
bet you just your blood sugars dropped because I kept hearing oxygen, and the blood and the oxygen is really what I think was happening, not just the astigmatism, but
Yeah,
it's hard taking care of ourselves. It's a
yeah,
responsibility. We can dish it out, but you got
yeah,
to remember I got to eat, I got to drink. Oh, maybe I don't feel well. Oh, maybe I'm tired, or maybe I
yeah.
didn't get enough
You're
sleep. It's
trying to
like,
figure it out. Yeah, you're trying to
mhm.
figure it out. Linda, it's always a pleasure to have you on. It's always fun.
Thank you, Charlotte. I always love it. So people can go to lindasalvin.com. They can order Wicks of Wisdom, or they can send me an email first and say, I heard you on Charlotte's show, and I'll give you 10% off. Book a reading, healing, or channeling session. And there's going to be a time I'll be back on the air again soon, and then I'll have Charlotte back on. I took some time off, and with all these travels and acknowledgments and things, our lives go in different directions, but we're always
Yeah.
here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Appreciate it.
so
You're
much.
welcome.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
Let's see if I can do this right this time. Last night I clicked off. The other night I clicked off, and the person came back up, and they're like, oh, "I'm on." New buttons. Okay. All right. All right, guys, it's always fun to have Linda on. I've known, like I said, like she says, we've known each other for years now. And that's what happens with this show, is there's always a handful of people that that you click with, and you see them over and over, and it's fun. All right, I'll be back tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific to do past, present, future readings for you guys. I just ordered some new oracle cards. So we're gonna see if we can get some different types of readings coming in. Plus, maybe we'll do some love doctor cards. Aphrodite can come channel again and see if we can do some of those coming up here. But anyway, I'll be joining you guys at 7 p.m. Pacific tonight, barring any dizziness. Hopefully not. But yeah. And upcoming things for us, California Haunts. We're going to be taking you guys on the road with us. We're having talks about the Walt Disney Museum. So we're going to take you guys there. We're taking you to breakfast this weekend over at Black Bear Diner for my birthday breakfast and my producer's birthday breakfast. So we're going to be doing that this weekend as well. So be on the lookout for that stuff. And Friday, Casual Friday, Nancy Matz is back with us. And we're going to be talking about grief. We're talking about death of an ex-partner or a long-term partner. What you go through with that. So that's going to be what the topic is for next week or for Friday, and so usual time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. So it's always fun to do that. So we're going to have some fun events coming up and start getting out on doing stuff on the road and whatnot. And yeah, hopefully I can get this dizziness thing settled down so I can be human again and do a lot more. Okay, and I will, like I said, I will have a website where you guys can now go for the psychic readings as well. That, and then from there we'll be launching some psychic development classes. All right, guys, I will see you tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific. Have a great evening and have a great rest of your afternoon, and it'll be fun. Come on, join me. Bye.